Hi guys, today I'm going to do a video about the whole United Airlines stuff that's been going on. I've been following it mainly through Phil again. I know I watch his videos every day. But what it is, if you're not aware, there was a flight from going out from United Airlines. See if I can find any details on it. The United Express flight 3411 was overbooked. Well, now they're trying to say that it wasn't. That it wasn't overbooked, and it was. And they have, they offered money for people to disembark, and so that 4 particular employees could get to a set place, so that they could then take another plane and fly to wherever. And instead of what they did is they offered money, and depending on who you believe, they either went up to $800 or $1,000. When in actual fact they could go up to as high as $1,300 to they offer people, if you get off the flight, we'll compensate you this much, blah blah blah, and nobody took it. So then they randomly selected people, and they selected a couple that got off. That was fine. Then the third person they selected was a doctor, based. I don't know where the doctor is based. 3 passengers went quietly. I'm looking at this from the USA Today article. The fourth, who was literally pulled from his seat and off the plane, was David Dale. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. A physician from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And the family of Dr. Dale wants the world to know that they are very appreciative of the outpouring of prayers, concern and support that he has received. They are focused on Dr. Dale's medical concern and treatment because he refused to get off the flight because he was a doctor and he needed to be at the destination to see his patients the following day. Because he refused to get off the flight, they called out the I think it was the aviation police, who literally pulled him out of the chair. And as they were pulling him out of the chair, I won't play the video, but the video's everywhere. I'll see if I can link it above. What happens is they dropped him, and his head, say this is the headrest, his head literally went, and they got him off the plane. He was pretty much dazed, knocked out. Then he could manage to get back on the plane, and he was bleeding from his ear, his nose and his mouth. So there was some damage sustained in this. At first they were saying, we're going to investigate this. Then there's conflicting reports whether it was overbooked or not. Apparently there was a lot of issues on the plane. A lot of people were worried about the treatment, and I think there was 3 recordings in general. What I'll do is I'll link Phil's videos up above on this subject, because he goes into a lot more. And while I was preparing for this, I managed to find a statement. Bearing in mind that the same person has had an email leak earlier today, maybe yesterday, now for us in the UK, where it says that basically, I know you guys didn't do anything wrong. It was the customer's fault. Blah 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 for not blah blah blah. I'm not. See if I can find that email. Letter to employees. Right, let's have a look. Images. It's not letting me. Right, let's have a look. Chicago Tribune. D team, like you, I am upset to see and hear about the incident last night aboard United Express flight 3411 heading to Chicago from Louisville. From Chicago to Louisville. While the facts and circumstances are still evolving, especially with respect to why the customer defied Chicago aviation security officers the way he did, and to give you a clearer picture of what transpired, I have included below a recap of primary reports filed by our employees. As you read, the situation was unfortunately compounded when one of the passengers we politely asked to deplane refused, and it became necessary to contact the cargo aviation security officers to help. Our employees followed established procedures for dealing with a situation like this. While I deeply regret the situation arose, I also emphatically stand behind all of you. I want to commend you for continuing to go above and beyond as we fly. I do, however, believe that there are lessons we can learn from this experience, and we are taking a close look at the circumstances surrounding the incident, treating our customers and each other with respect and dignity at the core of who we are. We must always remember this, no matter how challenging the situation. The summary of, and this is a summary as well. I'll see if I can link this article as well below. But that was leaked, where basically he's saying that he's standing behind his staff. Then, a couple of hours ago, he released this statement through United.com. The truly horrific event occurred on the flight has elicited many responses from us all: outrage, anger, disappointment. I share all those sentiments, and above all, our deepest apologies for what happened. Like you, I continue to be disturbed by what happened on this flight, and I deeply apologise for the customer forcibly removed and all customers aboard. No one should ever be mistreated this way. I want you to know we take full responsibility, and we will work to make it right. It's never too late to do the right thing. I have committed to our customers and our employees that we are going to fix what's broken so this never happens again. This will include a thorough review of crew movements, our policies for incentivising volunteers in these situations, how we handle oversold situations, and an examination of how we partner with the airport authorities and law enforcement. We'll communicate the results of our review by April 30th. Now, there's also reports come out that apparently the gentleman who was essentially forcibly removed and near enough knocked out wasn't exactly the pillar of the community, but that's not the point. Regardless of whether he's, the perfect doctor that's never done anything wrong, which doesn't exist, or whether he's a doctor that has not the best reputation, which this doctor does, whether the person is a good person or a bad person, whether the person is just or not just, at the end of the day, this relates back to a video. I will see if I can link that above, which Markiplier did, where basically he says no matter who the person that you're dealing with is, whether they are the most irreparable people on the planet, you treat them with respect. I've always done that. I've always tried my best to do that. I was always taught by my mum to respect people. The only time people lose my respect is if they do something to evoke that loss of respect. This doctor may have some questionable issues in his past, but he's had the relative sanctions from the relative bodies regarding that situation. This situation should have nothing to do with that situation. They're two different things. What might have happened in the past, and that's due to his medical practice. That isn't due to him being pulled off a plane because he was being arrested for something. If he was being arrested because somebody had accused him of something, then that wouldn't be an issue. But because he was essentially not doing anything wrong, he had patients to see the next day, because he's still a board-certified doctor, though he has restrictions, he's still a doctor. And he had patients the following day. He needed to be in Louisville, I think it is, the following day, and that was the last flight. You are really going to take a doctor off a plane just because your staff need to be in an area and nobody else volunteers to come off the plane? Well, next time, go up to 1300 and you might find people who deal with things. You don't pull people off that have jobs such as a cop or a doctor or a nurse. The high level, what I class as high level service industry, where their job is more important than somebody who works. I know it sounds horrible, but a doctor's job is more important than the job of somebody who works in a cafe or a hotel, because somebody else can cover for them. With the doctor, it's not always that simple. I use me as an example. When I go to the doctor, I generally see one doctor because he knows about EDS, he knows about my condition, he knows about the whole issues, he knows about everything I have, and he's really understanding and he's really knowledgeable, and he actually treats me with respect. The others, not so much, but he's one of the better doctors I've ever had. Now, a lot of people with doctors are like that. I know my doctor, I trust my doctor, end of. I don't know other doctors, I don't trust other doctors, I literally only concentrate on my doctor. So next time, don't try and pull a doctor off. It's a case of he said I'm a doctor and he can prove that he's a doctor. Leave them on the goddamn flight. Okay? Next time, United Airlines, do a little bit better, because this is going to cost you a lot of money. And I'm not just talking about the compensation, I am talking about the issues that you're having with China, because the gentleman was of Chinese descent, and one of your biggest markets is China, and everybody on the Chinese equivalent of Twitter is kicking off, and they are not happy with you guys, which I can fully understand. I do wish I could get my brother-in-law's take on this, because he works for an airline. So I would love to get his take on this. Whether I do it, whether I am able to or not, I don't know. But I wish I could. Hopefully one day I will be able to. But United Airlines, you need to do better.